Hi everybody, Shelby with the Soap Brew House here. Hello. Anyway, today I'm going to be making a real short video, and basically this is a custom soap. I have a customer who ordered 30 gift boxes, and so he's got he lives in a really cool mid-century modern condominium not too far from me, and the railings of the condo complex are accented with teal green, and so he asked me if I could make something kind of mid-century modern inspired. And of course I'm going to use the teal color, and I'm not super artistic where I can do stuff kind of scroll work, because some of the railings are scroll work, but what I am going to be doing is some geometric patterns that are in it, and something that has some elements of kind of like water and waves, because that's the name of the building, and I don't want to give away too much for privacy. I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. It probably doesn't matter. But anyway, so I've got my oil and lye mixed up. I got it to a medium trace, which is what I need. I'm going to pour in about not quite half. Right about there. Okay. Let me get that in there. Okay. Get that so it doesn't spill. I'm going to tap this out. Okay, and then I'm going to be putting in these spheres and triangles, and then these like little cut up pieces of embeds for on top. So I need this to set up a little bit more, so when I put in the spheres, they don't sink. They all kind of like stay uniform together next to each other, and I don't have like all this falling all over. So we need this to set up a little bit more so it isn't quite so jiggly. But let me show you the spheres. So I got this really cool mold from Brambleberry. Here's the mold. It's the medium sphere. So they're like 1 1/4 inch. Now it's a little flat on one side, but other than that, it's a really cool sphere. And of course, it's a peacock green color, kind of a teal. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be lining, they're going to look like butts, I know, lining them up like this, all 10 of them, kind of one side, but not really touching the edge. And once I do that, then I'll put the rest of my batter in very carefully. And then I've made this very interesting triangle. You can see it is a triangle, and I kind of beveled the edges a little bit so it wasn't quite so rough, but it is a triangle, and that will sit across the top. So when you cut it, you'll see a triangle, but at the top of the soap, it also kind of mimics sort of like a wave, like water, I think, or at least that's my artistic interpretation. And then I took some of the extra bits, and this is 1 ounce worth I made, and I did it in different colors. That way it's almost like sea glass, and there's some that are very pale blue and other ones that are more darker with the teal. It's essentially all the same mica that I used. It's just different concentrations. Like here's a real dark one, and those will get sprinkled on the other side of the wave. So let me see. I'm going to let this set up a little bit more, and then we'll start putting the embeds in. And since this custom order was for 30 soaps, this is actually my 3rd batch that I've made. So I've already cut the 2 this morning, so I won't be presenting a cut video. I will just show you what they look like cut. So kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay, so hang on a second until I can get this batter set up properly, and then we'll continue. Okay, we're back again. Oh, let me study the camera. And so I'm checking with my dowel here, and I think we're finally at it's still slightly jiggly, but I think we're at a firmness that I can put the spheres in. and have them stay the way I need to. I also decided with this to do a very well-behaving fragrance oil. Something waterish would have been great. However, he needs these soaps literally in about 4.5 weeks, which is, you know, as you know, in the soap making world, not enough time unless you just want to make melt and pour. So I had to use what I had on hand that didn't discolor, didn't accelerate. That way I had time to play and do all this good stuff. And so I ended up doing, this is a kind of a lime margarita fragrance. So there you have it. Okay, so as you can see, I'm putting the little spheres in there, back to back. Kind of get them together. Uh-oh. I think, did that one fall? I think that one fell. Shoot. Sort of did. See if I can. There we go. There. Okay. Yeah, I ended up not coloring the soap batter. I didn't want, or he said the outside of the building kind of is an off-white, so I thought, okay, well, it's one less mica I have to deal with. So I kind of let it be natural. So it is, it's kind of a super, like a cream color, and I was fine with that. Okay, those are in. Now I can scoop the rest of my batter in. And it's not too, it's thick, but it's thin enough that I shouldn't have any problems with letting it sink in to fill the voids, because I'm not going to be able to slam this down and get bubbles out. So it needs to have a little bit of fluidity to it. Okay. So we can do this. Okay, one more void. There, I kind of try not to touch the spheres. Clean up the walls a little bit. Okay, there's that. Now I can get the rest in. There we go. Getting pretty thick, but it's fine. It's still, like I said, this is my third batch with this. This fragrance is behaving itself very, very lovely. So I'm not worried about ending up with soap on a stick. It's going to be just fine. I got lots of working time, and that's why I very carefully selected a fragrance that was going to behave itself. Just got to get it in there. Now it's getting messy. Ugh, there we go. Oh, and a heavy glass container. Okay. This is the joy of wearing gloves, because now you can scoop the extra off and use your finger, and you don't have to worry about burning your finger. Ooh, I made a mess. Okay, now we can try to, between this and the dowel, I should be able to kind of get bubbles out. Get this even. Okay. Hold on. Messy, messy, messy. There we go. Put that on that side. Okay, let me see if I can spread this out a little bit. Oh, that does whirl. Okay. I feel like I've got kind of a a bulge of batter on one side, which I don't want to have. And you end up cutting through the loaf and you've got some tall and some shorter than others, and it's not what I'm going for. Okay. I don't want to overwork it. There. The top necessarily doesn't matter if it's textured or not because of what's going to go on top. Let me just... Now I usually have to wait a few more minutes in order to put my my large triangle on top, but I don't think that's gonna be the case. I think it's pretty firm because this thing weighs 8 ounces, and so you don't want it, definitely your batter too light, it's gonna sink. I want a little bit of sinking, you know, so when you cut it, you don't, you know, you see some of the triangle inside, but you don't want, so let me see, this is gonna sit, sink it in a little bit. I want a little bit of resistance, but not too much. There. And I was usually keeping it away from the edge about a finger's width. That's what I did for the other two, so I'm going to kind of try to do that for here. Keep it about a finger. I think that's good. Okay, now let's put the little guys in. Like I said, this is about 1 ounce of the little sprinkles. Get these in. I did not scent the melt and pour. So if that's something you're wondering, you know, when I was talking about the fragrances, what scent did I use? I didn't. So, there. I had a limited amount of fragrance to begin with. I had just enough in order to do the soaps, and maybe a smidge more. Fortunately, I had just received my spring fragrances in, because like I said, when he sent me the email wanting this, I literally, you know, you know what day it is, and he said, I need it by the end of February, and I'm like, okay, and that means delivered, packaged, delivered, the whole 9 yards. So I didn't have time to order fragrance, so that was another reason I was very selective. However, part of the gift set is going to be candles, and candles, I do have time to reorder a fragrance. So I'll probably do my Moscow Mule fragrance. So it'll be it'll be in the same family of fragrances, if you're familiar with Moscow Mule, you know, which is like ginger, lime, and mint. So I will do that, and I have time to reorder my fragrance and get that, because the candles just need a good couple of weeks of cure time just for the fragrance really to set in with the wax. So, okay, I think that tipped a little bit. There we go. Oh, still got a little bit more. Let's get all that in. Try to use it all. I had a little bit of an interesting time cutting this. It ended up working out fine. I was a little unsure whether my wires on my cutter were going to break, but I turned it sideways. I heard somebody say that, and that was a good idea, and I had no problem with my wires cutting through this. Now, after this is all said and done in a couple seconds here, it will go into the fridge overnight, because I don't want the gel process to get too hot, and then my spheres inside they just melt and they're no longer spheres. Kind of like what happened to my olive soap, if you saw that video, or actually the cut. That's what kind of revealed part of my issue. So that was a little sad. But so far the other batches have turned out fine. So that's that. And this one, like I said, I'll put it in the fridge overnight. and I will cut it tomorrow after it's gone back to room temperature. Anything that you put in the fridge, you want to be sure you bring it back to room temperature before you cut it. Don't cut it cold. It just won't work too well. And here's what they look like. They're different, huh? Kind of geometric. You know, I don't know if it's really mid-century, but I think it's kind of cool. It's got the on top. This is a really big soap. The Melt and Pour alone was about 14 ounces total between the spheres, the triangle, and the bits on top. So this is a huge soap, huge soap. So yeah, there's another one. And one thing I noticed too, just to end the video on a funny note, look, I have a kitty cat or some type of critter. Anyway, but they won't see that because there's only one soap per person, so they won't see the kitty cat, and I probably won't even say anything. So there you go. There you have it. There's my little custom soap with my embeds, and this is, I just thought I'd share that with you, just my project for the last couple of days. And I'm going to go put this to bed now, and I'm going to take a long deserved rest because I've made about 7 batches of soap in the last 2 days, and I'm a little tired. But I thank you for watching. This is Shelby from the Soap Brew House again, and the next video will probably be on shower steamers. Thanks for watching. Bye.